A to the K.
To the K.
To the K. Coming up tonight on the Ringside Report. AEW's Full Gear card accidentally leaked.
Bray Wyatt reportedly had issues leading up to his release.
The Young Bucks fire shots at Hit Row and their sneaker collection.
Vince McMahon orders a makeover for Cameron Grimes.
Roman Reigns thinks CM Punk has lost a few steps.
Kevin Nash apologizes to The Rock for being a dick. Just The Rock, though.
Impact Wrestling signs top indie talent.
Buddy Murphy to debut in New Japan this November.
Rhea Ripley has lost her women's tag title while on the road.
Karrion Kross is set to undergo another new gimmick change.
Braun Strowman meets with Impact Wrestling.
AEW Rampage beats WWE SmackDown in the key ratings demo.
And when's all that coming up, Anthony?
It's coming up right fucking now.
So,
let's stop swearing. I'll sing your dad yell at us for that.
Yeah. Sorry, Dad. So, let's kick it off with news item number 1.
The Newsday.
Newsday. Tony Khan. Fucked up a bit, Annie.
Oh, yeah, he's had a fucking wild weekend, buddy.
Need to fucking stop swearing, we fucking said. Right.
I'm fucking sorry.
So, rumour has it, he may have accidentally leaked the Full Gear match card. Now, I think since...
Still my opinion.
Go on.
I don't think it was an accident.
You think he's just one of those kind of guys?
I've held the paper the wrong way around. Nah, bullshit. He knows what he's doing.
I think he's since come out, by the way, and said, "No, I was just doodling my notebook and I was just fantasy booking it."
No, because he didn't write I heart.
You're not fantasy booking anything. You're the booker. But basically, he was. A picture was taken of him for some magazine somewhere. Can't remember what it was, but he was at a Jacksonville Jaguars game, and basically it was a pretty, high megapixel picture because you couldn't half zoom in and see what was written on his notepad.
Isn't it? Someone really took a very high res picture of a full match card that people might be excited about. It's crazy how that happens accidentally, not on purpose.
Yeah, it's funny that. But for those people who did look into it with their keen little eyes,
Spoilers
they will have seen
now.
potential spoilers for Full Gear, including the one match which is already announced, which is Hangman Adam Page taking on Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship. We have potentially Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson, the Inner Circle versus the American Top Team, MJF versus Darby Allin, CM Punk versus Wardlow, interestingly. Thunder Rosa versus Jade Cargill. Now, I believe this also had something written next to it which said something like "Move to Jan."
Oh.
So, interesting.
Who's Jan?
Who is Jan? Adam Cole versus Christian Cage.
Interesting.
The Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express. And Cody Rhodes versus Malachi Black or Andrade El Idolo or Miro. So
as long as Cody's in it,
yeah,
we'll go.
We know we want Cody.
Also add I Heart Cody
against someone else he's not faced yet that he wants to face. So yeah, I thought the EVPs didn't have any power anymore. But yeah, interesting one. So you think it was no accident? Is that what you're saying?
Look at the picture. This is the picture right here.
You can clearly see it. He's
practically fucking posing.
On our 1080p, wonderful.
You find a high res one if you want.
Well, yeah.
Look at the picture. That's deliberate. That is one of them. Like, oh no.
Yeah, it does definitely seem, whether it's a preliminary version of it or what, definitely seems like he was trying to plan out the card.
People love to bash Tony Khan, right? And they love to he needs to just stay away from Twitter and stuff. I think he knows what he's doing in the sense, there's no such thing as bad publicity. So when he goes on one of his little rants, right? So this accidental leak has got people talking about the match card, right?
True.
And when he went on his rant about beating SmackDown, which we'll talk about, what happened? People started talking about Rampage, didn't they?
They did.
I think he's doing these things knowing that it just gets people talking about wrestling.
Jedi mind tricks.
And talking about wrestling is never a bad thing. It doesn't really matter if you're siding with AEW or WWE in these arguments. It's got people buzzing and talking about these things. And I think that's what his aim is, to be honest with you. And people just feed into it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you could be right. It is very, coincidental that you would have a picture taken of him where you can just happen to see the right side up and on that page and everything, a potential match card.
I might just sound like a conspiracy tinfoil hat kind of guy here, but who holds paper like that? I've just been writing something and I'm going to flip it around and hold it as. It just doesn't make any fucking sense unless you're posing for a picture.
Maybe. I think also, I don't think it was mentioned in the report I was reading there, but I think Britt Baker's name was on the card with a TBC or TBA against it. So
or TBS.
I see what you did there. So was the full gear card potentially leaked? You decide. So next one, Anthony.
Next one,
what are you talking about?
Bray Wyatt is a man of controversy.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently, and I believe this was Andrew Zarian in the Mat Men podcast, if you want to check it out for some more detail, but we'll talk about it in brief here, that it's been reported that Wyatt was apparently being difficult in the lead up to his release. That he clearly had performance issues in the ring and issues with his weight, and to be honest, those are things that I think were identified anyway and probably attributed to the depression it was alleged he suffered. But apparently it was stated in this that these were not the reasons for his release, and a number of issues led to the decision to cut the former champion, namely that the company were being told that, obviously officially due to budget cuts, but that many people in the company did not believe that this was the case, and basically that he had become somewhat difficult, let's say. Now, I personally think with this that what do you define as difficult? Because this is a suggestion from inside that you become difficult to work with and obstructive and so on. But at the end of the day, he was always very passionate about his character as well.
I think in this day and age, if you've got an opinion about how you're booked, I mean, that is differs from the way that the talent tells you, or from the writers tell you. Sorry, then it means you're difficult now.
That's the thing. So I personally, and I'm not just defending him blindly because we don't know the truth of it, and we never will. Like when they suggested that he was out with depression and it might not have been and so on, we don't actually know the truth of it, and in a lot of senses it might not be our business if it was personal reasons. But when the suggestion he'd become difficult to work with and so on like that, I think it's largely down to that. Like, if you are impassioned about your character and the direction of your character, you're going to become argumentative, and there was a time in WWE that wouldn't have necessarily been a bad thing. Now it gets you released.
Yeah. Crazy how times have changed.
Crazy.
So the next one to talk about, Young Bucks been stirring up some shiz on Twitter.
Believe it or not, it's over shoes.
It's over shoes. So they've been throwing shade at NXT's Hit Row. Did
NXT start it though? No, they might not have actually.
I'm not too sure, to be fair. I think they might have done actually. So the tweet that the Top Dollar made said, "Some of your favourite wrestlers only wear sneakers on camera to seem cool and hip, but in real life they rock Vans and Asics exclusively, but you're not ready for that conversation." So Young Bucks then posted a tweet following that, which said, "Spent more on sneakers in September than the entire NXT roster did." So yeah, people be beefing about shoes, yo.
And reports in that no one really gives a shit what you wear on your feet.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you're into your sneakers, cool. If you wear Vans, cool. Guess what? People aren't really watching wrestling for that.
That's it. Like, I know, obviously, the Young Bucks, as part of their kind of heel personas, are being repping the kind of, the Gucci's and the crazy, shoes whenever they can.
Attires,
to kind of get across the kind of, pompous kind of aspects of them. But, Hit Row,
all they
obviously.
All you have to do is send out a tweet like this.
That's all they had to do. But yeah, so basically, thrown a bit of shade, it seems, at some of the members of NXT, specifically Top Dollar and the rest of Hit Row. So, interesting one. I think a lot of fans thought it was pretty funny. And I think after the fact, Top Dollar tried to, do a couple of follow-up tweets about it all, and basically just didn't really go too well for them. So
it's I mean, you don't mind like fun little beef like this, do you? I mean, they're fighting over shoes at the end of the
day. That's it. People.
All good fun.
No harm from a little bit of inter-promotional bants.
No harm at all.
What I'm saying? So the next one, Anthony, to talk about.
It's an interesting one, this mate. That Vince McMahon has ordered a makeover for Cameron Grimes. And to be honest, I feel like this was probably heading that way anyway. He's had that association with the $1 Million Man.
Yep.
He's had that gimmick change, but he still looks like that grubby cowboy. Might not be the right terminology, but you know what I mean. They've never changed his look. He's always it's been that same look that he had before he changed his gimmick. So obviously the suggestion here is that they're looking to clean up his look. So that includes apparently shaving his chest and the like. So we're probably going to get a less long-haired, beardy version of Cameron. So be intrigued to see what they're going to go for. This isn't just an aesthetic thing, is it? It's like, what are they going to go for overall with his gimmick? Is this going to push further into the $1 million thing, or is it going to be another wholesale change to him? I just don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to be a bit annoyed though, because obviously they're doing a lot of stuff already, like stuff with Loomis and Indy Hartwell, and it seems like they're going down the, would you swipe whatever way people swipe on Tinder to get a match.
Because that's the kind of relationship you want with WWE, like where they acknowledge and work with Tinder.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Well, exactly. But I'd hate for it to go down this route of like another love interest kind of angle now for just. Yeah, it doesn't always have to be about that. We've got enough stuff going on. Especially NXT seems to be the worst for it. Everyone seems to be in a fucking. It's like High School Musical at this point. That fucking place.
Oh, don't. They're gonna go into. Don't encourage them to.
You've got Dexter and fucking Indy. You've got Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. You've got
break into song. Haaland and.
That's what I was gonna say. You motherfucker. Forgot his name. You've got right there in front of me. Gentle Caress and all that. So yeah,
that's
damn
the
you.
name of that tag team.
Gentle Caress. So yeah, interesting one. Who knows?
So we'll see. Are you excited to see the new Cameron Grimes?
No.
Wasn't either.
Yep. So Anthony, let's talk about the next piece of news that we got for you. Roman Reigns been flapping his gums on CM Punk this week.
I would stress, I think, kayfabe in character, in all fairness. But yes, he has.
Maybe. But basically, he didn't mince his words when responding to what some people may consider to be a dream match between Roman Reigns and CM Punk. He said, "I've answered a question similar to this a while ago, and it falls back to what our audience wants to see. If our audience wanted to see it, they're clamouring for it, couldn't shut up about it, and all the stars aligned. As a businessman and a performer, then, I wouldn't say no. But I mean, on a personal level, it doesn't do anything for me. That's not going to elevate me at all. He's older now. I haven't really seen a full match. I've seen a clip or two, and to me, a step or two has been lost. Then also, he got his ass whooped in the UFC. I see it's a bit personal. Probably in character to your point, but still.
I think when he's talking about, like, that won't elevate me and he's lost a step, they're kind of things that you're saying in kayfabe. Honestly, they're getting his ass whooped in the UFC. It's one of them where I'm sure he wants to provoke a reaction, and he is buying into his own heel character, but he stepped into UFC more than Roman ever did. Like, I don't think you can really talk shit until you've tried it.
Yeah, he does go out and attacks the rest of the AEW roster as well.
Because don't get me wrong, it's fair to say his UFC record is shit. It's shocking.
Oh, it's not, isn't it?
But that when you're asking Roman the question about having a match with the man, his UFC record's totally fucking irrelevant. But again, it's
to be fair though,
it's heel heat.
He has a UFC record. Roman's never got in there, so we don't know how he would do. But yeah, he also basically probably to be fair, if he gets his Golden Glove.
But off the cage.
Anyway. But yeah, he also took a bit of a personal swipe at the AEW roster as well. He said, when it comes down to it, I would throw him and the rest of that roster out the club, no problem. They're just little brothers, So
yeah. I'm 6'3" and 265 pounds. I'm a legitimate athlete. I think he might be writing his Tinder profile, but he's got a point. He's a bigger fella than a lot of them, but it's
one of them. It goes back to the whole all petite wrestling and shit like that. It's like,
but like, are we talking real? Or are we talking kayfabe? Because if he's got building heel heat, all well and good. If he legitimately thinks he's tougher than these guys because he's bigger, then Goldberg was bigger than Jericho.
It's true. Jericho beat his ass. So bigger you are, the harder you fall, as they say. But yeah, in character or not, interesting words from Roman Reigns about CM Punk and the AEW roster. The next one, Anthony, to talk about Kevin Nash.
Okay, so Kevin Nash, I feel like lately, I don't know if he's like been having a think about his life or something lately, but
epiphany.
There was a time that he'd make some comments and I'd be like, he seems like he's been an ass. But lately, a lot of what he's saying just seems to be like, I don't know. I agree with it more, I guess. And then further buy into this, like, is he like, reevaluating something? No, not that one. Is he reevaluating some things maybe? And this latest one makes me think that because he basically has had a positive exchange with The Rock and has apologised for the past heat they had between them. So, he said some things, I'll paraphrase, roughly saying that his work ethic is amazing. His filming schedule would kill most people, but obviously he's paid respect to basically everything The Rock's been doing, and obviously The Rock's sort of hit back a little bit as well. You can see the Twitter exchange if you want to see the full effect of it, but both showing each other a nice shine of respect. But this is, I mean, how long ago was this heat between the two of them? Like, it's interesting that he sort of 2002 goes back to 2002. And he actually even says, I'm sorry to such a dick to you when I came back in 2002, just trying to keep my spot. It's
that's an interesting quote in itself, isn't it? Obviously,
the NWO. The Rock was probably shit hot at that point, like the top dog almost. So I think last time Nash was there, before that he was the top dog. So kind of makes sense that he felt threatened by him. But I think I thought it was a really positive exchange. It's not often you get to see this kind of thing on social media. It was a really positive exchange between the two of them. And you know what? Fair play to the man. He's acknowledged it, and almost sort of. He has apologised for it, but you can almost get where he's like, when you make that comment, like, just trying to keep me spot, you can almost kind of get what his mentality was when he went into it. Not that it justifies it, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, fair play to the pair of them.
Fair play. Nice to see the beef has been squashed after these many years.
He likes beef.
I like beef. So, the next one to talk about, Impact have made a acquisition of a top independent wrestler. So Lady Frost, who has made a name for herself on the independent scene, Lady Hot, if you ask Anthony. But yeah, she's obviously made a bit of a name for herself on the indie scene over the past couple of years. And Impact have apparently offered her a contract now. So, which is interesting because the same report which came from Fightful stated that NWA had also offered her a contract quite a few months ago. So, interesting acquisition, a bit of a coup, I would say, for Impact.
Do you wonder what happened or what broke down with their NWA then?
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, they've been kind of doing a lot of good stuff, NWA. Obviously, you had the Empower and kind of trying to really highlight and showcase women's wrestling. Obviously, Mickie James is heading up a lot of the stuff there, so I know she's also involved with Impact as well at the moment. But yeah, interesting choice and decision from Lady Frost.
I'm guessing she's American.
Apparently so. Definitely according to this picture. This is what happens when Anthony sees the pictures ahead of time. You see, Anthony can't.
That's a funny thing. I don't normally even know what these fucking pictures are.
I could put anything up there. I could literally just have shit pointing to Anthony.
Yeah.
I'm just calling him a turd, but you know.
But interesting, and to be honest, interesting with Impact lately. They seem to be bolstered in their roster quite a bit in general.
I mean, even the women's division, like the Iconics coming in now and stuff as well. They have obviously Raquel Gonzalez, so yeah, inspiration. That's what I meant to say. So yeah, interesting acquisition by Impact.
Indeed.
Speaking of acquisitions.
So, only a brief one, this in some senses, but it was an update on Buddy Murphy, or the former Buddy Murphy. I believe he is now Buddy Matthews.
He is indeed, yes.
So it had been reported a little while back that he was looking to go to New Japan. We can now confirm that a debut has been set in the Battle in the Valley on November the 13th. We will see Buddy Matthews make his New Japan Pro Wrestling debut. And that's all she wrote. That's all I need to say. Done, dusted.
Has he rocked up anywhere else? Because I saw like some of the vignettes and stuff he was posting on Twitter about like escaping like the mental institution and stuff like that.
I don't know, Carl. I mean, I feel like you like interrogating me. I just want to tell people.
Just wondering because like if this is his first appearance post WWE, then I think it's going to be interesting to see how he is and how he does. And it's interesting he's gone straight to New Japan. But I don't think he has rocked up anywhere. So
I think it is. You know. Well, I wasn't prepared for your line of questioning.
Well, you know, that's what happens when we do it right here in person.
No, joking aside, this is his debut with New Japan. If he's done anything, it hasn't been anything like in a big enough scale that we will have seen it. But I don't think he's actually done anything since leaving WWE in terms of matches or working for any promotions. But it'd be interesting. He's always someone who's had a lot of talent, and I don't like to use this term because people are like, oh, but you know, underutilized in some senses in WWE. I think he was heading for a decent run at one point with the work he was doing with Seth, and then he decided, you know what, he's gonna like young girls. That's what we're gonna do with this, and that didn't go anywhere somehow. I don't know how that worked. You know, apparently going after a teenage girl did not actually do anything.
I mean, he's on a list now. Well, that's pretty much as far as it went.
He's had to go to Japan to get away from that fucking storyline. But whatever.
Yeah. Interesting. He's gone to Japan, of all places.
But no, I think like joking aside, like shouldn't really joke like that. But joking aside, the storyline he was put in with WWE and this whole Leah thing, that was kind of the thing that ruined his potential run for me. Like, I think he was doing well with being Seth's like minion, if you will, and I thought there's going to be a point you can branch away. They didn't even really do him and Seth properly. Like when he sort of broke away and sided with the Mysterios, they didn't even do that feud properly, unfortunately. No. But it'd be nice to see, because I do think he's got potential, and it'd be nice to see what he does in New Japan.
Yeah. It's mad as well because he got even more ripped when he left WWE, so he must look like an absolute machine now. To be fair to him, so
like Brian Cage.
Like Brian Cage, yeah.
But and we've seen many a wrestler go to New Japan, hone their skills, come back with a much better arsenal of skill or ability or whatever.
Yeah, he's got a much better arsenal.
And once he's worked on his arsenal, he'll come back to WWE. Maybe, who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
So yeah, Buddy Matthews, New Japan. So Rhea Ripley's fucked up. So she just so happens to have lost her tag team title. No, not in a match. Lost her bag. It's got all the gear in it and the title as well.
I read something the other day that like the gear she wore on the most recent Raw was actually she borrowed the pants from
Damian Priest. That's true. She had like a black sports bra on and Damian Priest's pants. So she basically lost her bag. Well, exactly. It's interesting that like they're the same size. You wouldn't think it, would you?
Well, she's tall, like, isn't she?
She is tall. But yeah, so she basically posted on Twitter, lost gear bag. In Albuquerque, New Mexico, basically said, if any of you have seen a black travel suitcase around the Office Boulevard and Montano Road, please hold on to it and let me know. It has all my gear in it, including my title. Cheers. So, yeah, it's been noted in the past that if a wrestler loses their belt, then they are given a replica title while traveling and doing their press until they basically get another one kind of made for them if it's not recovered. But yeah, and as Anthony said, she then basically hasn't found it, at least as recently as the house show from the other day where she had to wear Damian Priest's pants. So, yeah. Oops.
Whoops. And also, if you find a bag somewhere with a title in, good find.
Yeah, it's a nice title. I think, I don't know who it was, someone on Twitter, I'm not sure whether it's another wrestler or just some account basically posted, thanks for all the money raised from the auction of hair stuff, or whatever, you know what I mean? So, yeah, bit of heel heat for that person.
Oh, come on. Joke's a joke, though, isn't
it? Interesting. This doesn't normally happen.
Oh, yeah, it does.
It doesn't. But, yeah, let's talk about this one.
Braun. What are we saying about him?
That's a great point. I flipped to the wrong screen there. Just a picture of him.
Thanks, Carl. So, it is my turn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah,
so the former Braun Strowman, now known as Adam Scherr, was actually spotted meeting with Impact Wrestling's Scott D'Amore. So they met in a hotel bar in it sounds like proper stalkery, this. In Motel City Comic Con. They went into a hotel room for about 45 minutes.
Oh.
I'm kidding. Those bits are totally made up. So we basically, they were sitting down for a long time together, and it said that Scherr was actually arriving there deliberately to meet D'Amore.
Scherr's there?
Shame.
Oh no, it's Charlotte.
Do you believe in life?
And we're joking, by the way. We saw all the heat that comment got.
I know.
From people.
She might look like another woman. How dare we?
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's looking like it's getting increasingly more likely that Braun's signing with Impact. Apparently, it's been reported by, I believe, PW Insider that they been working on a number of surprises for the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. So, hey, let's put our rumour hat on and say, was this meeting regarding Braun Strowman's debut at Bound for Glory?
Maybe.
For Impact Wrestling?
If it was, then we'll know on Saturday.
We certainly will.
But yeah.
And you heard it here first.
It's definitely happening.
It's definitely happening. Why not?
Why the fuck not? We need to stop swearing. So the next one to talk about, Anthony, it seems, I think I had something in here about Karrion Kross for some reason, and I just haven't done any kind of images or anything for him.
Well,
so
throw that in as like a surprise at the end then.
Yeah, cool, you can cover that one at the end.
Whatever.
But the other piece of news to talk about is controversial, depending on, who you talk to, what you believe, what you care about. But basically,
you
can't argue with the facts.
You give the facts.
AEW's Rampage beats WWE SmackDown
in
in the key demographic of 18 to 49 viewership, and also ties with SmackDown in other key demos for the additional 15 minutes. The segments of Roman tied with the segments of the Bunny and Ruby Soho. So, yeah, I don't have all the figures here, but basically.
I mean, the figures are largely, like, people are going to argue the shit out of this anyway, right? You can go, all right, they won in that demo, right? Now, people like to jump all over this and go, well, SmackDown had better overall viewers, and
True.
This isn't really a win for Rampage. Rampage is still shit, etc. There's so many people on either side of the fence. Now, Carl and I are in, I would say, a unique position, but there's so many more people coming out of the woodworks now saying that they like both. But we watch both shows. We wish nothing but the best for both shows. In actual fact, we love the fact that they are in competition. This is something that I think people are losing. They want Tony Khan to shut up, and they don't want anyone to compete with each other. Competition's good.
Yeah.
And whether they want it or not, or whether it was like a corporate thing or not, you had the likes of Sasha Banks putting up a tweet saying it's clobbering time because she knew that their match was going up against CM Punk's match. CM Punk biting back afterwards saying yes it was, because they obviously beat them in the demo. Various little bits like that is like, I don't think it's a bad thing for them to be in competition with each other, because it makes them both want to try and elevate their game. Like SmackDown, very deliberately, they went no commercial for that 30 minutes to compete with AEW.
Yeah, so
this was deliberate. This wasn't a thing of like, we happen to be going up against you and we're not even in competition.
No.
We're not even trying, and that's bullshit.
They literally went out their way to do this. They extended the show by 30 minutes, made all 30 minutes ad free. They put into them 30 minutes the Sasha match and the Roman and Brock segment. It was the final half an hour of the show.
Exactly.
They aggressively went after AEW.
Yeah. And then they can pull back, like, whether they win or lose. If they lost, they could pull back and go, well, we had the disadvantage because we got moved to FS1 and so on like that. So they never lose because they always have a reason.
Yeah.
Right?
There's always an excuse. It's not even a reason, it's an excuse.
The bottom line is SmackDown overall pulls in more viewers. And some people go, well, the demo doesn't really matter. But for me, I'm looking at it going, that's great. That Rampage can be enough of a threat for them like that. That they can all be in competition like that.
The thing is,
and that everyone is doing their utmost to be the best fucking show. That's what we want.
And it showed as well, because SmackDown this week was great. Would it have been great if they weren't doing this? Probably not. But, when SmackDown is on Fox, which is available to all homes in America pretty much, it normally gets over 2 million viewership. This week they moved to FS1, which is only on cable. Their viewership dropped overall to 866k, right? Now, total viewers...
Crazy drop.
Total viewers still was significantly higher than Rampage, which I think drew just shy of 600k.
Yes.
Right? But the fact is, this was the first time you've had SmackDown and Rampage, which Rampage is only a couple of weeks old, by the way, at a 10 p.m. time slot, compete on somewhat of a level playing field. They're both on cable, both on at the same time.
For that 30 minutes.
For them 30 minutes. And WWE went ad-free. They stacked the card and everything, and they only just marginally beat them in terms of total viewers. And they lost the demo for the full 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So the first 15 minutes, they massively pasted them everywhere in the demo. The final 15 minutes, they were head-to-head. It was a tie. And that was when you had... was it Roman and Sasha? No, it's not Roman and Sasha. Roman and Brock at that point. That were closed out the show. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think so.
So basically, that is what ended up going up against Ruby Soho and the Bunny, and
all due
they were level.
To Ruby Soho and the Bunny, they should not have been level.
I mean, to be fair, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar are the two S-tier stars in WWE.
Yeah.
So by all accounts, it's not taking anything away from them. They shouldn't have been on 11 level playing field, but they were. So people, making all these excuses of, oh well, it's not their normal time slot. Well, yeah, true, but they chose to be. I mean, they didn't choose for the whole show to be on Fox, but they chose to extend it by 30 minutes to compete. So that can't be used. They're not on the same channel. Yeah, okay, that's fine. But that's a cable channel, just like AEW's Rampage. So,
and don't be wrong, I know AEW started all this demo talk. Thanks, Jericho. Right, and I know some people are done with it. I know some people think they're absolute experts when it comes to the viewerships and stuff. But the bottom line is, it's not really about viewership. It's about the fact that they are clearly competing with one another, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
No. And from a demo perspective as well, people have been saying this of oh, well, Tony Khan loves anybody 18 to 25, loves anybody 26 to 35, loves anybody 36 to 45, whatever. Get to 50, oh, don't like you guys anymore. That's not what it's about. It just so happens that WWE's audience skews heavily into 50 plus or significantly younger than 18.
Exactly.
Which makes sense. It's targeting more towards kids, and you've got people who've been watching it for years who are like proper old school who still like to tune in. Yeah. So,
although we've been watching it for years and we're old school and like to tune in, and we're not in that demo.
That's true.
That's depressing.
So yeah.
But no, I don't want to get bogged down with the numbers personally. I think it's fantastic that Rampage did as well as it did for such a young show. I remember when Dynamite was like being told that it'd never compete with NXT, and look at it now.
remember when
Dynamite was first out, it was competing directly with NXT, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's never going to win." Blah, blah. And
it
look
did.
Now it's not even a talking point because they've just gone way past that now.
I still love that as well. It's not a Wednesday night war. All right.
No, it's not, and it's also not a marathon, not a sprint. It's a marathon. If you ask Triple H, but what two I don't know because they ain't competing.
Well, exactly.
But yeah, for me, I wish they'd just go. You know what? Yeah, they are our biggest rival, which they are at the moment, and acknowledge the fact that they are. Why wouldn't you compete with them? That makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, I mean, they can talk about themselves not being a wrestling company, being an entertainment company all they want. That's cool. At the end of the day, they are World Wrestling Entertainment. Therefore, they offer wrestling, and the closest company to them that offers wrestling in terms of viewership is AEW. Yeah. So whether you also compare yourself to the likes of American Idol or whatever the hell else you want to compare yourself to, which they have done in the past as well, and talked about the key demo and viewership, by the way.
Yeah.
They should have a level of competition there, and it's only going to bring out the best in both.
I totally agree.
So,
and from a wrestling point of view as well, I don't care. I don't much care about the whole variety show entertainment side of things. If it's going to make them compete on a wrestling level, brilliant, love it. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, you throw bloody Reggie doing backflips at me every 2 minutes, like. That's not even entertainment for me. Like, that's not even a fucking variety. That's just what is that? Yeah. But compelling storylines. Paul Heyman, the stuff with him and Brock, fantastic. Some of that's much better storyline work than AEW has to offer. So.
We're fortunate enough now that if you want to stay up that late, especially for us in the UK, you can go straight from SmackDown to AEW.
You can,
assuming you pay for Fight TV.
Well, yeah. I mean, you've got to do that because ITV suck.
Yeah, but my point being. You get that. You get to be able to just go from one show to the other, which is that should be enjoyable for everyone instead of just going, I don't even bother watching AEW. It's just a spot fest and Tony Khan's an arsehole. What's all this about?
Yeah,
it's the closest, best alternative we've had in a long time. Enjoy it.
That's it. Like, unless they literally just watch it for nothing to do with wrestling.
I love it because most people sound like they actively want everyone to like, oh, they're all ex-WWE. Yeah, well, fuck them. They should all just be at home with no jobs.
Yeah.
Like, how can you be like? Oh yeah, he left that company, and can you believe he left McDonald's and went to work for KFC? The cunt.
I know, yeah. How dare he? How dare he? Everyone knows McDonald's is better. It's been around longer. Yeah.
It's like they've got you should be happy. There's enough
more variety on the
menu that they can go and thrive somewhere else. You mad cunts.
Yeah, but I don't like beef. Well, you should eat at McDonald's anyway. They have chicken sandwiches too, So yeah. Product placement.
The variety show.
So we haven't got this in, but it was one that I missed. Just something brief to talk about, Anthony, about Karrion Kross.
Yeah, so apparently we're going to have another change to Karrion. And sadly, no suggestion that they're going to be getting rid of that stupid fucking Roman gimsuit helmet thing.
Yep.
But that they're going to try and portray him as more of a psycho, but still calm and
Maybe
cool.
he's psycho because he cosplays as a gimp. But
for me, they're still kind of missing the mark because they still want to keep the gladiator thing going. And they still have not mentioned bringing Scarlett into it. So
literally, whatever he does or looks like doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Bring Scarlett back. The rest will fall into place.
Because you put in when they say stuff like this, like they're going to try and portray him as more of a psycho, yet still calm and cool. I feel like they're literally going to say to him, go out there and tell everyone you're a psycho, and he's going to be like, I'm a psycho, because they don't really know how to fucking write for this guy.
No, they don't have to write in general most of the time anymore. So yeah, So
we'll see. We'll see. Whatever. Change it again.
We will see.
Still no Scarlett, so we're disappointed, basically.
Yeah, bring Scarlett back.
She's his hype woman. She's made sense.
She's our hype woman too. We like Scarlett. So yeah, we've done it, Anthony. We've watched Crown Jewel together.
We did.
We've reported on, the results and our reactions to that.
We did.
We spoke about all the happy haps in the world of wrestling for the past week.
We did.
And now we've just spoken about the news and rumours. as well going on in the world. So
we did.
That's it. The show is done. And you know, it's getting later and later in it. It's Thursday this week, but hopefully
we're going to end up so late that we're going to actually do 2 shows back to back eventually.
Probably, yeah. It might get to that point. But hopefully we'll be back at, our usual Tuesday/Wednesday time next week.
This was kind of merited because we're watching a pay-per-view.
Well, exactly. And it's very rare that we get to watch a pay-per-view together where it's not, silly hours in the morning. I'm kind of like this.
One of the main blessings of Saudi.
That's it. The main blessings of Saudi.
And there aren't too many blessings for the Saudi pay-per-views, but one of them is the fact that it's on at a reasonable hour in this country.
Well, exactly. So it works good for us. We got pizza. We had some whiskey. We watched it live.
Drink and be merry.
We did. And we got to record the show live and in person. Which we never do, really. So, yeah, it's been wonderful. It's been fun for all. We'll be back next week. We'll be talking again, news rumours. We'll be talking what happened this week in wrestling. And we'll also be looking at the 10 superstars we predict to be future world champions next week. So until then, catch you on the flip side. And we'll throw you over to our pal Griff Garrison to wish you adieu.
Adieu.
This is Griff Garrison, and you're listening to A to the K.
A to the K.
A to the K.